It has been a month since getting the PowKiddy RGB30. I was very hyped with this device at first, but I played my PS Vita and did a video on it. Check it out here. I got lost in playing NBA 2K13 for the PSP on the PS Vita, and now I'm getting back into the PowKiddy RGB30. After getting back into it, something unfortunate happened. This device fell to the floor and the display went out, literally. I was shocked and I thought it broke. Thankfully, this is not broken and I was able to put this back into place. After a few more hours, here are my thoughts on the PowKiddy RGB30. The looks of a device is very subjective, but this shade of yellow and blacks is really doing it for me. If you haven't seen my latest video, it is about our yellow Suzuki Jimny pony. Check it out to see how much I love the black and yellow scheme. Unfortunately, the looks is where it all ends. Similar to the PowKiddy X55, the RGB30 feels hollow and cheap. Let's go around the device first. Here at the front we have the face buttons, start and select, 2 analog sticks, and plus points for having the D-pad at the top. Retro games focus on the D-pad, so this is a correct layout. The buttons feel slightly better than the X55, but it's very easy to do some diagonals here. As mentioned earlier, the screen fell out and this does not really bode well to the overall build quality of the device. At the back and at the sides, you have nothing here. At the top, you have your inline shoulder buttons, the volume, the mini HDMI port, the reset, and the power button. At the bottom, you have your 2 USB-C ports, one for the power, one for OTG, and 2 micro SD card slots, one for the OS and one for your games, and a headphone jack. As with all my other handhelds, this now sports an updated firmware from GelOS. The firmware I am using now is from February 2024, before all the issues with the Yuzu lawsuit hit the GelOS team. Overall, the build quality is slightly better than the PowKiddy X55, but it is still not great. And based on my experience when one drop broke the screen, this will not be a great gift for younger children. Going into the screen, this is a 1x1 720x720p screen. I honestly love how crisp it looks. And with how GelOS has pre-configured the system for the screen, the overall viewing experience has been great. When it comes to software, I think GelOS is a great firmware as it's clean, slick, and basically turn on and play. You can leave it as it is, or you can tinker to your heart's content. There is also Wi-Fi here, so all of the goodies like the retro achievements, OTA, image scraper are all here. Unfortunately, the Yuzu debacle basically killed GelOS, but a successor in Rocknix has taken its place. Performance-wise, this is the RK3566 chip, which has been around for a couple of years now, so we know what it's capable of. Basically, it lets you play up to PlayStation 1 with little to no issues. Some games are playable for higher-end systems like the Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, Nintendo DS, and Sony PSP. I made a video showcasing the RK3566's capabilities for multiple PSP games, so check that one out. Keeping it all together is the battery life. And this is where the RGB30 is extremely inconsistent. Sometimes it drains the battery so fast even when turned off. Sometimes even on sleep, it barely drains any battery overnight. Though generally, it seems to be par for the course with about 4 hours on PSP and about 5 to 6 hours on PS1 and below. Remember to charge it with a USB-A to USB-C cable. For the negatives, I would say that there is only one major flaw with a few nitpicks. The major flaw would be the build. Within 1 month and 1 drop, this subjectively great looking device is aesthetically broken. I don't want to lug around a frail device when my PS Vita or the Anbernic RG35XXH are built like tanks with respect to the PowKiddy RGB30. A few nitpicks would be on the software side, which have been long issues with Jealous, namely the frustrating local net play and connecting more than one Bluetooth controller. As mentioned on my X55 video, connecting one Bluetooth controller is fine. Connecting two is a major pain as it keeps on trying to connect to everything but the second controller. I can't be expected to turn off all other Bluetooth devices around the house just to play with two controllers. Even then, it picks up even Bluetooth from our neighbor's unit. It's such a hassle that I just don't want to play NetPlay or with the controller on Jealous devices. Okay, wrapping it up, where does that leave us with the RGB30? Let's do a quick pros and cons. So for the pros, it has a great color. This is subjective, of course. It has a good screen, a great software, Wi-Fi, HDMI out, and a good out-of-the-box experience. For the cons, you have your inconsistent battery, terrible build quality, the multiplayer experience is a dud, and the price. As of writing in April 2024, the PowKiddy RGB30 is still priced at about 4,300 pesos to 5,000 pesos. This is kind of expensive as the newer sibling RGB10 Max 3 is priced at 4,000 pesos. While I think the build will be the same, the 10 Max 3 offers a larger shell with a wider aspect ratio. The PowKiddy X55 is also a choice. The Anbernic RG35XXH, with all its software flaws, is much cheaper than the RGB30. At 3,000 pesos or about $53, this, along with the Mio Mini Plus, are the best retro handhelds here in the Philippines. Look, I'm not saying that the RGB30 is a bad device. Far from it. Had it not shown its frailty, I would have a different disposition. It's just that after seeing the X55 have a bad build, and this one having arguably a worse one, then seeing the Mio and the Anbernic devices being built better for cheaper, it might be best to look further on the choices you have and pick something that will suit you better. I will never tell you not to buy anything you may have your eyes on, but always be informed before buying. Check out other reviews and decide for yourself. For me, I bought this because of the looks, because it is yellow, nothing more. Honestly, if the RGB10 Max 30 was released a month ago, I would never have bought the RGB30. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Consider like, sharing, and subscribing if you found this useful. This has been Norman 3000. See you soon, and happy gaming!